Shalom. That was odd. This is Sophia, the Ameru Khan Mariam, and I just wanted to do a video and talk about a few things. The first thing is that I have a special going on right now. I've been doing the ancestor messages over on the Astroterography channel, and I realized that those messages have been very, very helpful for me. And so I'd like to offer that to other people who have been looking for like specific questions, who have specific questions, who are looking for specific answers. Um, you know, I was uncomfortable with doing readings like that before because I didn't know who was giving me the answers. But since we were involved in the opening of that portal, and the ancestors have clearly come through and made themselves known, and I've even had one of the sisters say that one of the saints contacted her directly, and so therefore I know that what I'm doing is effective. And I don't like to offer things that I'm not sure if they work or how they work or whatever. So I know now that when um, when we started our fast, we started with this Lionsgate portal being open, and when the portal opened, our ancestors came through because we were asking for our and their restoration, and all the ancestors that are, have been trapped um, within us, unable to really help, just observing our demise, are now available to actually help us. And so I wanted to, now that I know that that's what's going on, that's why all my readings are ancestor messages, right? Because these are the ancestors coming through, me to give a message. I'm asking about stuff that's specific to me. And so, I know that other people have stuff going on and they might want specific answers. Um, so I am going to be doing ancestor messages, but the max is going to be 25. And when I get to 25, you'll have to wait until the next week, because I'm only going to do 25 at a time. 25 is the max that I can do at this time. I got to get comfortable with doing that many before I could do more. So if you're interested, I put a flyer up. Definitely just hit me up. It's first come, first serve. So whoever gets in there first is I'm gonna do them in order. Um, so just let me know if I don't text you or respond to you that I'm working on yours. Then um, you know within a couple days, and just remind me, because it could have got lost in translation, or maybe the payment didn't go through, or whatever. So if you think that I didn't receive your message or your payment, just let me know. This is not on the website. People who are like ordering stuff on my website, this is not on the website. I'm trying to figure out if I feel comfortable with this product. I don't want to put products on my website that I don't feel comfortable with doing on an ongoing basis. What you can order off my website is, as far as readings are concerned, you can order a whole house reading. You can order if you haven't got your charts yet, if you haven't got your interpretation on your charts, my standard Urim and Thummim reading, you might want to get that. Those are very important. So that's where I would start if you're looking for stuff on the website. But this is a Cash App special, or if you have my Zelle, you can Zelle me. Or if you need my Zelle, you can just send me an email or a text message. Both of those are on the flyer, and let me know. And that's definitely the best way to get into contact with me if you need me for something. If there's an emergency, somebody has disappeared in your family and you don't know where they are, some other kind of emergency, please don't hesitate to text me. You know, and I'll take a donation for that, and we'll figure out what's going on with your loved one. If you have some kind of mystery, illness, and you need some kind of you know, a consultation before you go to the doctor or after you go to the doctor or whatever, definitely hit me up. Tell me it's an emergency, and um, Would just, depending on how severe, how much looking I have to do is how much. Sometimes I can tell right away. I'm not gonna, I'm not like a doctor, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a doctor. I can just look into the spiritual realm and see what's going on. And so some people have very severe things going on, and I might have to do a little bit of digging, and that might cost a little bit more. But most of the time, the stuff people have going on is not even that severe. You know what I mean? It's just that it was, what really needs to happen is you just need a little bit of clarification so that you know which ancestor to talk to that's going to guide you through the rest of the process. That's really what I'm just operating as the gateway, as the medium, the channel between you and your ancestor that's trying to get the message to you so that you can move into the next step. So that service is also now available. I'll make another flyer for that because I hadn't even thought about that until I started talking. So what I wanted to talk to you about was, who are these ancestors, right? And we're going to, I mentioned this in a video on Sunday that I made, but we're going to go deeper into depth with this, especially over the next few years, finding out who these ancestors are. So I just want to explain something about that. Last year in September, we discovered a book called about the spirit intelligences. I can't remember the book. It's by Bardone. Okay? I spent a lot of time connecting myself with the spirit intelligences in those books. Okay? And I didn't know what that meant, but I spent a lot of time doing it. So now, almost a year later, I know what that means. I'm going to share that information with you. The spirit intelligences in the book are, of course, angels, right? But these are different kinds of angels. These specific angels that's mentioned in this book are angels that have incarnated into this realm, which is different from some of the archangels have also incarnated and some of them have not. A lot of them have not. A lot of the different angels have not incarnated. It's my belief now that in order to get into the office of a named angel, you have to incarnate. That is a requirement. And so the only people who are holding those offices are people who have incarnated and people who have had the human experience, which qualifies us, since we are incarnated, to actually go into those positions when we leave this incarnation. What does that mean? It means that the different stories of the saints, specifically the saints, because there's one for every day. There's it's a lot of stuff going on with the saints, the virgin martyrs, and they have other ones, confessors and stuff like that. There's a lot going on with them, and I haven't figured it all out, but I just wanted to explain this to you because this is where you're ascending to. If you want to know what you're ascending into, what you're going to become, it's one of these who have incarnated. Everybody is not going to get that opportunity. So you still have to have lived a certain kind of life. However, the benefit that we have is that we can look at the lives of these saints and see which ones closely mirror us so that we can prepare ourselves now in this realm to incarnate into that realm. That is why so many different spirits have been working with us specifically and successively, meaning once we vibrationally master one level of dealing with a particular saint, we go on to another vibrational level. So it could be that, we are actually incarnating through multiple lives of these, multiples of these carnations while we're here on the earth realm. You know what I mean? So we don't have to wait until we go to the other realm to incarnate as the title in this realm. You might got to listen to that sentence twice. We don't actually have to go to that realm to have incarnated in that realm. We, on the Earth Zone, are given an opportunity to incarnate through multiple realms at once, through multiple timelines at once. That is why everybody is lined up around the corner to get here. And that is why this is what they don't want you to know. You have the ability to incarnate through multiples of these things at one time, through multiple pantheons, through just multiple timelines. It's very diverse what you can accomplish here as a living soul. So that is to say, you can figure out which incarnation you're living right now if you know the lives of the saints. And why the saints specifically is because their lives mimic the lives of those angels in Bardon's book. If you can figure out, they tie in the way that they're explained. They also tie in with different dates, and that's what I'm working on, like a concordance with all of them, so we can figure out how to do this. So, for example, if you guys remember, around the time of when we did our last fast, which was the last cross-quarter holiday in bulk, okay, thank you, Dragonfly. We were working with Diana, heavy. And so when we vibrationally matched Diana, then another goddess or saint or whoever appeared, which was Mary Magdalene. Then we were working with Mary Magdalene really heavy. And once we vibrationally matched Mary Magdalene, then Mother Mary appeared. And once Mother Mary appeared, that just opened up a whole nother level of different, because Mother Mary is like the mother, like the literal mother. Like if you want a physical representation of the mother, you have Mother Mary. Just like Jesus is a physical representation of God the Father. It's the same kind of energy. Because if Mary is the mother of Jesus, that means she is the wife of God. That's literally, there's no other way to be able to explain that. And so if that's the case, the mother has a whole different set of angels. So this ties back into the Olympic spirits and that video that I posted from They Clone Tyrone on Memak, the Memak and the Beothuks, and the red-faced Indians, which were black people who put on like red on their face to give themselves rosy cheeks, you know, and red hair. So so we have the opportunity to, when we ask for our powers back with this fast that we're currently doing, one of our powers is to be able to live through multiple of these lives, so that we can have, when we do cross, whenever that may be, we will be, there's something else for us to do. It's not going to be what this same dragonfly is back. Ah! Go away, please! Oh, don't do it! Good Lord, that thing almost, I'm surprised y'all didn't see it. And now I can't see myself. Oh, goodness. Okay. I think I messed the thing up. All right. So, oh! Swan dive. Good gracious. All right. Hopefully y'all can see me, because I can't see the bottom. So we have the opportunity to deal with multiple incarnations at once. We can live multiple lives at once, and we can see where our lives match up. And the easiest way to do that is to look at the saints. The key has always been the saints and the martyrs. It is the fifth seal. If you go and look at the fifth seal of Revelation, the fifth seal is, I don't know why this looks like this, man. This is just trying to be lazy, that's all. Not lazy, but the fifth seal is actually the martyrs. The martyrs are the fifth seal. And so with the fifth seal now being open and our ancestors being freed, we have the opportunity to do greater than them. And I don't know what that means right now. I'm not sure, but I do know that we have access to it. But the first step is we have to learn about the saints. And something I mentioned in the other reading, which I want to mention to you all, is that the Roman Catholic Church is the problem. The Roman Catholic Church is the problem. The papacy is the problem. 100%. Why? Because In order to become a saint in the Roman Catholic system, your body has to perform a certain number of miracles. Like, you can't just be killed. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have just died in the faith. That's not. Ooh, that's part of it. Let me hold it. That's part of it, but that's not all of it. The rest of it is you have to. I'm just gonna hold it. You actually have to perform. Your body has to perform a certain number of miracles. So, like I said in my other video, if I died right now, right here, and somebody was able to come up to my body and take a swab and let that swab perform a miracle, they would name me a saint. That's how it is with the Roman Catholics. I mean, it's a little more intense than that, but basically that's it. If you can perform a miracle, you can be a saint, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous. So they've been using, not only have they been using and abusing our people's bodies like that, that's not the only way. The other way they've been using and abusing our people's bodies is like this. The martyrs, right? When they died, the Roman martyrs, the ones who are Roman citizens, they beheaded them. Well, what did they do with the heads? What did they do with the heads? What did they do with the rest of their bodies? A lot of times they wouldn't give them to others to bury because you couldn't be a Christian. So they would not give their bodies away to be buried or to be protected. They wouldn't do that. So what did they do with the heads? What did they do with the bodies? What happened to this stuff? You know what? This is so crazy. All right. What did they do with the bodies? What did they do with the heads? I'm sorry, this video is all over the place. But it's kind of hot. I don't want to hold the... Anyway. So what they did is they took the body parts because, see, remember in Ezekiel, God told him, the Most High told Ezekiel, can dead bones live? And Ezekiel said no. And what did the Most High tell him? He said, prophesy to the dead bones. And when Ezekiel began to prophesy that the dead bones should live, they started to come back together, piece to piece, sinew to sinew. Okay? This was well known. This was well known that the body parts could prophesy. This was well known. That's why it was the valley of the dry bones. Why were the bones dried out? Because they had been left there. But why had they been left there? They had been left there because there's power in them. You don't just... Anyway, I'm not going to say that. The point of the matter is there is power in the actual body parts. And so that's what these people have been doing. And they specifically cut the heads of the Roman citizens because of the Oracle of Delphi and her abilities. And so they knew that the heads of the oracles could actually speak, would actually speak to them. They could actually speak. The other ones they weren't sure of, and that's why they just, got rid of them or whatever, however they did it. This is also why the water in Europe is undrinkable. The river water is because they took a lot of these dead bones and dumped them in the river. And the ones that they took the heads and stuff of, they actually their body parts aren't together, and so it makes the water undrinkable. Okay, that's why you can't drink the water in Europe. You just can't drink the water. And that's why the water here is becoming undrinkable, is because you have so many body parts of our people thrown into these different rivers. However, they do keep parts. We know they keep parts. Why? Planned Parenthood, baby body parts everywhere. You can go and research that for yourself. This is something I've been researching for 7-8 years now. You can go and look it up for yourself and you will see. They keep those body parts. And I just heard there was a story about a girl who they pulled on the baby too hard and the head came apart, and then they had to do a C-section to take the head out. Crazy stuff. Why? They want that body part. They know that's one of our women and our bones can prophesy, and they want them. And they can't have them. It doesn't matter. It's not going to work anymore. It's not going to work anymore. But in the meantime, we can be figuring out who called us, what saint called us, what saint is our saint, our personal saint. And we can do that by seeing which saint's life is like yours. And you can just go and look up the saints. You'll find the one on your own. But the reason why I'm doing this service of the readings is so that if you need help figuring out which saint is your saint, I can point you in the direction where you can begin to research. Because the whole thing about this is, I know how our people are. This is a very new subject. Nobody else is talking about it, so nobody else can help you. And I'm not trying to take advantage of that. I just want people to take it seriously, which is why it has to have a price on it. But I'm not trying to take advantage of nobody. You can go and do the research yourself. As I find things out, I will share them. And I have been. If you're over on my Ortho Sister channel, I'm reading saints' names every day. I'm putting their pictures. You know, just by looking at the pictures, you get activated. This thing is no joke. Like, the pictures activate you. This is why tarot is so important, is because the actual pictures activate you. The layouts activate you. They activate something in your DNA. That's why if you were lucky enough to get one of my full astrotarography readings or whatever, I'm not doing those yet because I want people to know who their saints are first. That way you can see your saint in your reading. You know, it's got everything got to be done in a certain way because I just know how our people are. You know, I know how our people are, and I don't want anybody to be like, oh, well, she could have told us this all at once. No, I couldn't, because I'm not even finding out all at once. I'm finding out in bits and pieces, and then I'm telling people the bits and pieces that I find, and the bits and pieces are overwhelming. So yeah, a regular reading where we can resolve a situation, tell you about who your saint might be so that you can start looking into them. And it might not be the exact one that I mentioned, but it'll lead you to the proper one. But you have to do the research on your own. This is a personal thing. Like, we're a group of people, right? We're a group of people who are working together. But this is a personalized process, meaning you have to deal with your own soul salvation. When those martyrs died, or the confessors confessed, they was 10 toes down by themselves. When I'm out here saying this stuff, yes, I have a team of people I work with, but I'm 10 toes down by myself. It could be nobody that agrees with what I'm saying. And sometimes some of the stuff I say, people don't agree with. They can't see it until after I say it. Then it starts to be revealed to them. So I'm 10 toes down out here by myself. You know, still working within a group. You can do both. There's certain people who have said you can only do one or the other. No, you can do both. You can stand 10 toes down on your truth, and you can still be a part of a collective. That's actually one thing we have to figure out how to do, because we don't have no good role models for that. We don't. You know, we don't have good role models for that, for being in a group and separate at the same time. So that's something that we definitely have to learn on this life cycle. So I'm just trying to provide a gateway so that people can get to the right information. We can relieve some of this suffering. The suffering is not going to be relieved. The suffering is not going to be relieved until you know who sent you. Once you know who sent you, why they sent you, some of the suffering will be relieved. The suffering will also not be relieved until you are doing what you are supposed to do. And it's not that you have to go and do anything new. It's not about that. What it's about is putting forth the effort to accomplish what's on your own list. And then the Most High and the angels and the saints can meet you halfway. See, because like me, like, I've been doing a lot of stuff to accomplish the stuff on my list, but that's stuff that I did previously. So basically I had to add more stuff to my list so that I could start working on it. And one of the things was doing those readings, those ancestor messages. Another thing was doing the daily prayers. I had to add those things to my list of how I wanted to, you know, accomplish my goals, because I had to add more things. The things that I asked for before, I had to ask for new stuff. So some people, you all may have that problem too, where you have stuff that you've been asking for years and years. You're not going to get that stuff. You got to have new stuff that you're asking for. Because the things you were asking for before were rooted in the fear tactics of the nobles. So now that that fear and that magic has been eliminated, you got to ask for new stuff. Even if you want the same stuff, right? Like, I want the same stuff, but now I'm more specific about what I want. Meaning, you know, I always wanted to have a farm. But now I'm like, okay, I need a farmhouse and I need a beach house because I need to be by the water too. I need both. It doesn't need to be a farm by the beach. That's crazy. It could be separate places. You know what I mean? But I'm asking for more stuff. Like, it's more specific. As opposed to, like, before, it's like, oh, I just want a farm and I want my life to be like this. Like, no, I want my life to be like this, but I want it to be like this with a farm and with a beach house. I want my life to be like this with, activities for my kids and making money. I want my life to be like this with, good food and being able to do my own crafts or whatever. I want both. It's like you have to ask for more because what you're asking for is what your ancestors want. It's what they're asking for. And so if you don't ask for more, they're not going to be able to get what they want. So like me, I like to travel, but I know that's my grandmother all day and all night. She loved to travel. She loved to dress up and go to places and stuff like that. That's her all day and all night. The prayer room, that's my grandfather all day and all night because the prayer room will have music and this and that. That's my grandfather all day and all night. I know that these are my ancestors' dreams that they had that I'm asking for. You know what I mean? So I know that I'm going to get them, but I got to understand that this set of dreams I have now, not that it's any different from my other dreams because it's really not. It's really the same stuff, but it's a different understanding of it, which is why you got to figure out, and it's not necessarily like, oh, I don't know any of my ancestors, so how do I do this? Well, you can still figure out what saints work with you. And it can be what the saints would have wanted. That particular saint, what were they into? What does their picture look like? What do you feel when you look at their picture? That's information that you can get through that kind of meditation. See, because we've been meditating a lot and focusing on what we want a lot. So it's not that we can't meditate or focus on what we want. Now we have to be specific. So when I'm meditating for my list of stuff that I want right now. I'm meditating for the things I want to do right now. Not like, oh, I'm trying to put this together, trying to put that together, trying to see this, trying to see that. No, this is the stuff that I want right now. As opposed to when I was praying and meditating and all that stuff before, it was just like, oh, let me fulfill the dreams of my, that I had before. No, those dreams were not even my dreams. Like I have an advanced degree, and I'm almost done with a second advanced degree. You know what I mean? Like, that was never my dream. That was me saying, oh, my grandmother, she never got to go to college and, so I want to get an advanced degree for her. She don't care about that. She like traveling, partying, family and stuff like that. Why would she care about a degree, man? That don't even make no sense. You know what I mean? Like, this is the kind of way you have to look at your old. So, but do I still want that degree? Yes, because I will use that as a stepping stool for what some other things that I want, like being able to write books, being able to do different kinds of public speaking, having people look at me as an authority, so on and so forth. I will use it for those things, but not for like, oh, to make my grandmother proud. Nah, man, that's not it. That's not it. That was just, it was nice when I said it. It was what the demonic 9 told me to say. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of thing. You have to just, so it's not that I don't want to do that. It's absolutely, I still want to finish my advanced degree. However, it's going to be for a different reason. It's not going to be for a reason that the demonic 9 told me. It's about the intention. Everything right now is about your intention. You have to be very clear about your intentions. And that's why I'm offering the readings, because our intentions are all out of whack because we don't know what questions to ask. Like, I was telling people, well, ask who your saint is. But I'm like, you don't even know what question to ask because if you got a message from your saint, you wouldn't know what it looked like. For example, a sister got a message from her saint. What was the message like? She was thinking about something related to her work situation, and she got a text message, a promotional text message from one of these purse companies. And as she began to research about what this name meant, the numbers, the name, all of that, she realized what saint was contacting her. That's what it looks like. What it does not look like is an apparition comes before you. You're not even going to know what to do with that apparition. You haven't looked at any iconography. You don't know anything about the colors. You don't know anything about any of this stuff. Why would somebody appear to you when you know nothing about it? That's crazy. That's insane. That is really nuts. Like, no, what you want to do is, it's going to be subtle. Again, the Most High deals in subtlety. It's not in big, flashy, all of that. The Most High sent a poor country girl from Fort Washington to uncover this information about these saints. He didn't send some priest from, uh, uh, the seminary who's, always been a Orthodox to do this. He didn't send that person. He sent me. And that's how it is with all of us. He didn't send the person who has the best credentials. He sent you to do what you're supposed to do. And until you accept that you are the person for the job, nothing can open up. You're just like waiting for nothing. It won't happen. You have to accept that your job, and sometimes your job may be just to raise your children. Why? That child you might be raising has a very specific purpose. And if you don't raise that child right to the best of your ability, with all the things that you've learned, that child's not going to accomplish their goal, and that's going to slow everything down. We're trying to speed this thing up. You know what I mean? Like, everything has been slow because we haven't been doing what we're supposed to. Most of my dreams are related to my children, like what I want, how I want to live, so that they have this kind of living as their baseline. That's really important. One of my mom's things, how she lived, how she always taught us was, just to do no harm. Really, literally, don't traumatize kids unnecessarily. Don't cause unnecessary trauma to kids. And when I see people doing it, which I have seen, people causing unnecessary trauma to kids, it makes me very upset. It makes me very upset because the most important thing, school is unimportant. It doesn't matter. The education your child needs, will get to it. What's most important is not traumatizing them. So if you think that the best way to not traumatize them is to take them out of school completely and let them sit at home and do nothing all day, you do that because you know what is best. And when the time comes to make a different decision, you'll make a different decision. But thinking that school is the only thing that's important and the child has to be challenged at school and all of that in order to accomplish what their mission, their life purpose, that's crazy. That's crazy. And I don't care who agrees or disagrees with that. It's crazy. You are traumatizing your child unnecessarily, trying to get them to go to a school, and in the school, those kids don't even know how to read and write. Meanwhile, you keep them at home, they're going to want to learn to read and write. They're going to want to learn to do this stuff, and they'll learn how to do it on their own. And they'll become inquisitive on their own. My 2-year-old plays with toys. They have whole storylines. All my kids was like that. How you got 2-year-olds making storylines with toys? All my kids was like that. Why? Because I didn't send them to no daycare. They watch TV. They gotta watch something. And then they took that stuff they was watching on TV and they turned into storylines. What's wrong with that? I don't care if somebody thinks something's wrong. I don't care. It's not about you raising my kids. It's about me raising my kids. And so that's the kind of thing, like, especially we as black women, we get all, inside out, upside down. Oh, our kids need to do this. Our kids need to do that. Nah. Maybe they don't. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. The thing I'm more so concerned about with my kids is socializing. That's why they go to school. So I found the school with the least impact, the one that's going to affect them the least, the one they're going to leave with the least scars. That's what I was looking for in a school that would just leave them alone and let them do what they do. Now, y'all, I'm not saying you have to be like me. I'm just saying in general, you have to make the decision for yourself. You can't keep letting these people come in and tell you what to do, tell you what you want. If you're an older woman, maybe you're past childbearing age or whatever, maybe you want to go on vacation around the world. Maybe you want to live by the beach. Maybe you want to, sell your house and go get a condo down on South Beach and live the beach life. That's good. Don't let nobody stop you from doing that. Maybe you're ready to retire. You're old enough you can retire. I've been saying this. When is it time to retire? I'm ready to retire. But my retirement is going to look like helping y'all out, taking emergency calls, doing whatever it takes to find people who, are lost in the spirit realm or whatever. That's what my emergency calls are going to look like. That's what my retirement is going to look like, just helping people out. Not going back, getting a job, fighting a man, all of that. I'm not doing none of that. unless the Most High is going to send me into a situation where they'll pay me to do exactly what I'm doing right now, because they finally find the value in spiritual medicine. And until then, I'm going to stay out of it, because it's not none of my business. It's not none of my business. I don't need all of that. What I need to do is to help you all figure out what y'all need to do so that we can all ascend. See, we got a whole group that graduated. So when we all graduated, okay, that's why these doors are open, these portals are open, the ancestors are free, the martyrs are free. We graduated. So they graduated. So now what? What do you do after graduation? Well, you got to go and get a job. You got to once you graduate, it's time to go and get a job. It's time to go and put those skills to use. And that's what we don't want to do. Well, I'm not ready. I don't know enough. I don't anything. And that's what I've been saying to myself for weeks. I don't know enough about this. I'm not ready for this. I'm not this. I'm not that. Well, if I don't at least start, then I can't get anything that I want on my list. It won't happen. So I have to go out here, really, jump off on a limb and do some stuff I'm not even like comfortable with. Because if I don't, then I can't get to the next level. And I'll just be stuck at this level right here with this little stuff. And that's what the enemy wants. The enemy wants to keep me in a doom loop. So how do I get out the doom loop? I got to do something that's outside of the box. I have to go against what feels comfortable and do what feels uncomfortable. Like, what feels comfortable to me is to just be making some money, doing some little stuff, having my money come in, and not worried about none of this stuff. That's what feels comfortable. This is very uncomfortable. This is very uncomfortable from top to bottom, this whole situation. But I know that if I don't do it, I'm not ever going to get to where I need to go. And so this is what it is for everybody. So my thing is this. I can communicate with the ancestors with the cards. We can find out who your saint is. At least one of your saints, at least get you looking in the right direction. We can figure out what it is you're supposed to be doing, what the obstacles are, and how to get around them. Then if somebody has an emergency, like I said, I'm going to make another flyer for this. You can contact me. If need be, I will go in the spirit realm and I will find this person. We'll see what we can do, what the ancestors want us to do, how they want us to proceed with this particular individual. I've done this before. I wasn't really planning on offering this as a service, but it could be necessary. So if you have a loved one, somebody goes missing or whatever, you can't figure out where somebody is, you're trying to figure out if somebody's got a demon or something that's attached to them, you can't readily see it, because what I'm also figuring out is, depending on what your level is, you might not be able to actually see the demon, you know what I mean? But the demon will always present itself, and then we can figure out if this is something we need to get rid of, how to get rid of it, or whatever. I'm doing this straight with the cards, with intuition, with whatever kind of research. It's not going to be standard for everybody, so nobody can ask me what my methods are. I don't know what my methods are. When the case comes up, the spirit will tell me what to do and I give you the answer. That's the best I can give you. That's another thing I don't like, that makes me uncomfortable, is that I can't tell people how I know stuff. It's not in a book. It's not something, it's stuff come all kinds of ways that I just don't know. I literally don't know. Like, I can't tell you the mechanics of how I can do what I can do, but I do know that I can do it, and I know that it works. And so instead of like just waiting until I can figure out the mechanics of it, I'm gonna go ahead and offer this to y'all to get started. And then as I understand more about the mechanics, then of course my price is gonna go up, because then I'll be able to teach people how to do it. I won't be the only one doing it. Man, these animals are starting to terrorize people. So I just wanted to, and then we'll get more into, that kind of stuff of learning how to do what I'm doing, finding your own way of communicating and stuff like that. This is stuff that people are not talking about. This is a new level. So anybody talking about, oh, this is what I already teach people, this is a new level. How can anybody be doing this when this is new? Using the cards to talk to the ancestors like this is new. The ancestors wasn't even free before. You may have been getting ancestor messages, but they was communicating a different way. Now they can communicate directly through the cards. And you got to look at the cards in the way that my tarot spiral has in order to get the message, because that's what they understand. That's their baseline programming. So if you're not using the tarot spiral, then yes, you're getting messages, but you're doing it, you're doing it a different method for me. It's not the same. And it's not bad. I'm not downing anybody. However anybody reads tarot or whatever they do, that's on them. I'm not saying anybody is wrong. All I'm saying is what I'm doing is different from what everyone else is doing. Nobody is offering this kind of service where they can literally go into the spirit realm and bring people out, figure out what a demon is, how to get rid of it, if it can be gotten rid of, if the person really wants to, but they don't know because, sometimes, like I was talking about with Alzheimer's, sometimes the demon was put on them by their parents, like especially, or somebody else sacrificed them. And so they don't even know like what's going on. So you try to tell them, hey, you got a demon attached to you. They don't know what you're talking about because they did not attach that demon to themselves. They did not agree to that. Somebody sold them. And so in those situations, you sometimes do have to go in and do something because otherwise the person will never come from out of that bondage because they didn't put themselves in it. See, that's another thing. Like some of us were not put into bondage ourselves. So it's really hard for you to get out of bondage because you didn't put yourself there. And people who have done it, like me, that didn't happen to me. The Most High was very, very gracious to me and gave me a loving family. I don't have problems with my family, my immediate family, my mother, my father, but I don't have problems with these people. They didn't try to do no weird stuff to me. I don't have all that baggage. I don't have all of that from my family. And so that's why I'm able to look at people who do have it and say, yeah, you got that demon was passed on to you by your family. So we're going to have to remove that. That's going to require removal, and it could just be that a loved one decides, look, I'm going to remove this demon from you. Like, we're just going to remove it, and we're going to see what happens, because I love you, and I don't want you to keep going through this stuff, so you just have to do it. So that's different for everybody, though. Every situation will be different. That's why we have different divination techniques. We're going to find out. We get to the bottom of it, and we'll do what is necessary. We'll do what is necessary. My saint is really good at that. So I know that what I'm saying is nothing but my saint saying, look, I know how to do it. You might not have the ability to do these things, but I do. So just use me. Let's get this show popping. That's why I can communicate with the ancestors. It's my saint. They know each other, so they can go through, say, okay, what's the message? What's the problem here? And then they can, all right, let's tell her because she's listening to what we're saying and she will tell the people. That's the only reason why it's me. Other people deal with other ancestors and that's fine, but the ones I deal with, the saints, the martyrs, the confessors, the abbotresses and the abbots, the ones, those who have passed, those are ones who are our people that have passed. They're communicating with me because I respect them. They communicate with you too, if you respect them. But if you like, I'm not doing none of that, I'm not going into the church, I'm not getting on the vibration where I can experience this, blah blah blah, how they gonna connect with you? You're downing their religion. That's why I had to go into the Orthodox Church, because that's their faith. They practice that. That's their old religion. So in order for me to have access to them, I got to go where they feel comfortable. And I got to get all filled up with whatever it is. That's just how it works. I mean, this is not rocket science. A lot of y'all want to make this hard because you just don't want to do what the Most High is telling you to do. But all that's going to happen is you're going to continue to suffer. You're going to continue to suffer. So it's not me. It's the saints that the Most High gave to me that's allowing me to do any of this stuff. It was never me. It's not me. I keep trying to tell people that it's not, but they don't believe it. They want me to say that it's me so bad. It's not me. I'm not doing none of this stuff. When I talk to people, I don't even know what's going to come out of my mouth. I have to go back and listen to stuff and say, oh, did I actually say that? Wow, that's crazy. I said something yesterday. I couldn't believe it. No, 2 days ago. And then yesterday we saw it show up. I was like, I can't believe this. I said this 2 days ago, and here it is showing up. That's amazing. That's amazing. But it's only because I listen. And I'm not fighting against what the Most High is telling me to do. And so I expect good things to happen to me because he is making a way. A way is being made, but it's only going to be made if I do what I can do. And I share what I can share. So that's what this video is about. Sorry it's a little bit crazy with the video, and hopefully y'all could hear the water, and that's very calming and comforting to some people. And we are going to do a conference. I mean, that's another thing. I just want to get people prepared. We're going to start with this, but we're definitely going to do something where we get together and we actually communicate and we commune as one, and then we're gonna go to a church and all of that. So y'all just start getting yourselves together. It's not gonna be no next year, nothing like that. I was thinking, man, I should wait and this and that. No, no, no. It's gonna be something that's this year. It's probably gonna be here in Jacksonville. So that we can go to the church that I go to and y'all can see it, what it's like, and this and that. And we're just gonna plan it out. I would say probably between Thanksgiving and Christmas, so that y'all can have an opportunity to see kind of what it's like. So I'll be, talking about that more, once things get, because that just came out of my mouth. Good God. Once we get a little bit closer to it, we'll be talking about it a little bit more. So just get your minds right, set in your heart, ask the Most High, do I really want to go and meet some of the sisters and the brothers and really commune and this and that. Get it set in your heart, man. Get it set in your heart, because once it's set in your heart, we can do it. We can't do nothing that's not set in the hearts of the people. Even if it's just a few of us, we're gonna get together and do something. So I hope that this meets you all well, and that you all understand and receive the message. And like I said, it will really be helpful if I could get I'll take 25 people to contact with their saints and stuff over this weekend. So if you got a few extra dollars and you want to, get this kind of reading done, please, please, please do it. And let the Most High work through you, because this is something that's on my list that I have to be able to accomplish. I have to show the Most High that I'm trying to accomplish it. So anyway, that's just my story. That's my spew. So shalom, everyone, and we'll see you in the next video.